All right, good afternoon, guys. My name is Byron Puryear, and I'm a workshop facilitator from the UIC Center for Literacy, Family Support Services, Parent Outreach Office. And we offer family literacy workshops, family literacy initiative workshops, financial literacy workshops, and parent education and employment readiness workshops. So any one of those workshops are free to you and the other parents of the various Head Start sites. And again, I'm going to ask another question at the end of the workshop. Would you be interested in maybe more topics that maybe need to be added? So I want to talk about the other services that we have to offer. We have adult education and career transitioning program, which provides free classes, tutoring to parents that are interested in continuing their basic education, learning English, obtaining their high school equivalency in English and Spanish. Our social service department is a program where GED students have access to post-secondary help. Thirdly, we have our Resource Center for Autism and Developmental Delays, which is our RCAS Center, which provides support for those who care for, teach, and serve children with the autism spectrum disorder or any developmental delays. Finally, is our AmeriCorps program. It is a volunteer program where you receive a biweekly stipend and an educational award once you complete 1,700 hours. So next, I'm going to talk about our basic Zoom features. We're on the Zoom meeting platform. If you are unaware of them, I'm going to just give a rundown of the basic Zoom features that we have. We got our mute and unmute button. I'm going to demonstrate now. I'm speaking right now. So you can just mute and unmute yourself during the course of the workshop, but for the sake of everybody's respect, feel free to just have yourself muted during the course of the workshop, but you can chime in at any given time. Next, we have our video on and off button. I'm going to demonstrate that now. Um, Depends on your settings. You can either see my picture or the first letter of your name, and that is the camera on and off feature. Next, we have our chat box. I'm going to demonstrate that now. I'm going to drop my email in the chat, and I'm going to also drop the website to the Center for Literacy. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can always contact me, or you can go ahead and hit up the website for the Center of Literacy, and they can give you some more information about all the services that we have provided for you guys. So give me 1 second. And again, our mission and goal at the Center for Literacy is to break the cycle of poverty by providing families a foundation of success.
You'll find my AirPods.
Literacy,
I think so.
see.
I think it does. And where's my iPhone thing?
All right, my email address and the website to the Center for Literacy is in the chat box. So next we're going to talk about our reaction button. So basically this is a fun little emoji reaction feature that we have on the Zoom. I'm going to give everybody a virtual thumbs up, and I appreciate you guys for attending this workshop. There's my virtual thumbs up. So next I want to talk about our point system. So we do have a nice point system available for you guys. The more workshops you attend, the more points you can earn. The more points you earn, the better gift you guys will receive. And the gifts will be available to all parents that participate the workshops in March. So be on the lookout for those gifts in March. So today's workshop is going to be on children's writing. And I would like to introduce my co-host. His name is Jason Harper. He's an outstanding member of the AmeriCorps program. Give a warm welcome to Jason, everybody.
How's it going?
All right. So next, let me go ahead and launch the poll. And this is just 3 short questions, true or false, or what you may or may not know about children's writing. There's no right or wrong answer. We just want to gauge what you know about children's writing so far. And while I'm doing that, all right, I just need one more person to complete the poll and we can get started with our workshop. All right, did everybody get a chance to complete the poll? All right, we're good to go. All right, thank you guys for completing the poll, our pre-poll survey. And I'm gonna go ahead and make my co-host the host. You got it? And let's go ahead and get started with this children's writing workshop. Let's go, let's get it, guys. All right. So again, today's workshop is children's writing. And we want to start that at the top. All right, so next I want to talk about the objectives that we're going to cover today. So our objectives and goals that we're going to cover today will be that parents will be able to name and identify different ways that we use writing in our daily lives. We will articulate the importance of young children's writing. And thirdly and finally, we will name strategies that you guys can use to encourage children's writing at home. We can go into the next slide. So next, I just want to do a brief icebreaker, guys, and everybody can respond. You can either shout out verbally or you can drop your responses in the chat. So basically, I just want everybody just to state their name and share 2 to 3 ways that we use writing in our daily lives.
Oh, hold on.
Mm-hmm. You had a question, Ms. Williams? Okay. So again, just write down 2 to 3 ways that we use writing in our day-to-day lives. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share the 2 to 3 ways that I share writing in my day-to-day lives. And again, my name is Byron Puryear with the UIC Center for Literacy Parent Outreach Office, and I am your workshop facilitator. And I use writing such as writing down notes, jotting down text messages, and sending emails. Jason, if you care to share 2 to 3 ways how you use writing in your day-to-day life. You're muted, bro.
Yeah, I seen it. It was a little different. But yeah, how I use writing in my day-to-day life is whether I'm making grocery lists or I'm putting some in my notes if I gotta remember a password. So I'm doing different things like that.
Okay. Grocery lists and notes. All right, and Ms. Williams, would you care to share how do you use writing in your day-to-day life?
Just to like kind of take notes and or just to relay messages to others.
Okay. All right. So, and again, our goal today is to talk about the importance for young children's writing and to learn strategies and activities that we can use to support children's writing at home. So we can go into the animation. So again, grocery list, using our cell phone device, sending out text messages and emails and writing down notes. And thirdly, there will be the application for appointment. We can either do that virtually or in person. I know due to the pandemic, people are not really too much accepting physical applications or resumes. So basically we have to do that online. So that's how we use, as an adult, use writing in our day-to-day lives. And I just want to ask you, what is the most simplest way that we can help our children begin to write? Like what, let me just shoot that question out to the audience. What is the most powerful way or simplest way that we can use, that we can promote children's writing in our day-to-day lives, in our everyday lives?
I would just say just showing them us writing would be,
Showing them?
yeah, like, how we write. We're writing our grocery list, we're writing down phone numbers, we're writing down addresses so they can see that, we generally do just write down things.
Okay.
And what writing looks like.
Okay. And that's one of them. But the most simplest and powerful way is just talking about writing, just talking about it. And again, like each time, just to piggyback off what you say, each time the parent writes down a grocery list, addressing a letter, sending the text messages, we talk about what we are doing. So I'm going to go into the next slide. So let me ask this question to the audience and to the parents. How can we make writing a part of our children's lives, and why would it be important? Like, what type of ways can we make writing a part of our children's lives, and why would it be important?
I think just giving them some of the resources to write,
Mhm.
drawing and coloring, just giving them little things that they can explore with. Even as like little babies, we give them paint to paint with, and things like that. So
Yeah.
just kind of giving them the materials just to kind of doodle with will start that process.
Yes, ma'am. And since we got Jason on board, how can we make writing a part of our children's lives, and why would it be important?
Well, I think let them know it's okay to write, giving them the space to be creative and create
Yes.
what they want to create.
Okay. Let's go into the animations and the bullet points. So again, how we can make writing a part of our children's lives and why would it be important is just by making writing fun and exciting. We want to make it fun, when children's writing, when they're having their little activities such as painting or just writing down letters. We want to make it fun and writing and also praise and celebrate them every time that they do any one of these activities. And also, writing helps support language and literacy development. And thirdly, writing helps children make connection between symbols and other language in any language. So again, if parents, nobody's bilingual, but it's beneficial to write with their children in any of the languages that they speak at home. So that does promote the literacy development in children's writing. And thank you for sharing all responses, guys. You guys are awesome. Can we go to the next slide, please? So next, I want to talk about tips for making writing a part of children's lives. Tip number one, we'll be talking about writing with children. Tip number two will be let the children write. And tip number three, we're going to try dictation. So these are the three important tips, and this is a keynote. Talk about writing, let the children write, and try dictation. Okay. All right, we can go to the next slide. So tip number one, we're going to talk about writing. Okay. So what type of ways can we talk about writing with our children? Like, again, we already covered this, like writing down such things. Like, what type of different ways can we talk about writing? We already talked about, Ms. Williams said writing down notes, and Jason said making grocery lists and taking down notes as well. But what could be some other type of different ways we can talk about writing? Anything else might come to mind?
Maybe if we are writing a letter to our relatives or just
Yeah,
any opportunity you have to write something down, just involving your child in it.
got it. And let's go into the animation on the slide. So again, I'm going to write your brother's name on the birthday card. So any type of, celebration or fun activity, birthdays, anniversaries, you guys can get together with the child and help the child brainstorm activities of what you can put on the card. Next, I'm going to start at the start. Next, I'm going to start my letter at the top of the page. So you know that we're going to start from the top and work our way to the bottom. Next, we can, like I'm going to send a text to grandma, like, hey, grandma, um, can you make me some cookies? And, you can talk about writing with doing that activity, like just sending just a friendly text to grandma or any type of, any other family member. And next, we're going to showcase like how to use a lowercase letter versus an uppercase letter. Just giving them the fundamentals of writing skills. And next, we already talked about making grocery lists. So you guys going to Food for Less to save a lot or whatnot. You guys can come together and coming up with that grocery list. Like, hey, I'm going to write down apples. What else do you think that I can write down? What else do you think that we need from the store? Cookies, milk, cereals, and anything of that nature. You guys can get together and just talk about writing. And again, starting at this side of the page to this side of the page. And conventionally as adults, we start from the left to the right and from the top and to the bottom. So again, we could talk with children about how the words are going for the top of the page, and we can also talk about how we're putting spaces between words and using the uppercase letter. So again, I just want to remind you that other than talking about writing, you want to talk about another activity, which would be tip number two, be letting the children write. So again, I just want to remind you that talking about our own writing is important to give children the opportunities to write, but we want to also celebrate and praise them by giving them the space and opportunity to write. So let's go into the animations. So again, in this first picture, the tools and materials needed, we just want to provide paper, crayons, markers, any other type of things that you may have at home, um, water paint, chalk, or whatnot. You can use any type of those materials to let your children write and just have them have a fun opportunity and the space to just to express themselves and just having them the space to do that. And the second picture would be trying drawing and writing apps. And there is a sketchbook app that you can try out. And there's also another app, which was, let me see here. It is an Android app that you can use. I don't know if you guys are Android or Team iPhone, but there's an Android app that you can use on your telephone device. So again, we have many type of ways and efforts that we can celebrate it and just, letting the child write and letting them have that opportunity. So that would be tip number 2, let the children write. And we can go on to tip number 3. Did I move too fast for you, Ms. Williams? Did you want me to go back to the next slide? You got it? Okay. So next we're going to talk about tip number 3, trying dictation. So tip number 3 is a little bit different. So when our children write and draw, we can use another simple but powerful strategy to help development their literacy in writing. And in other words, it's called dictation. And let's go into the pictures. So guys, looking at these 2 pictures, we're going to use the dictation tip. So what do we see what's going on in this first picture? Like, what can we see? What do we observe what's happening in this first picture just by looking at the drawing? What can we see what's going on?
There's some letters going on in there, some emerging writing.
Emerging writing, and what else do we see? Do we see anything else besides the letters and emerging writing?
You have your drawings, and then the dictation, it's a full sentence. So that encourages them to kind of want to write a full sentence. Like even if you look above, like towards the center, like I'm not sure if that's his name. Oh, that's his name. That's the name. But
Yeah.
it's still like in the stream of what it will look like if he were to, write a sentence.
Yes. So basically, and I thank you for that, and I appreciate that. So Jason, did you want to chime in about what do you see maybe that's going on in that first picture?
Yeah, I see Aiden and his family. It looks like he drew. See the blue is probably for the water. And I see the sun over there. There's different types of things in this picture.
Nice. So basically, and I appreciate that, Jason. So basically what's going on in this picture is that Aiden is drawing a picture of him and his family at the beach. So you can see Aiden, he may have a surfboard, could be a dog. We see the sun. I see a beach ball. I see the blue. That could be either the lake or the ocean. And the dictation is that Aiden is at the beach with his family and Carter is also there. So what we're going to do is observe this second picture. What do we see what's going on in this second picture? It's not as clear as the first picture, but they're actually expressing themselves through writing. So what do we see what's going on in this second picture, guys?
Got some labeling going on there.
Got it.
Which is kind of like the beginning for a 3-year-old or 2-year-old. That's just as important as the full sentence.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Jason, what do we see what's going on in this picture?
I see it looks like maybe see a lot of red, maybe a fire truck.
Okay. All right. Could be. All right. And so with the dictation that's labeled on this picture is that the young child has drawn a siren. So as we look at the top of fire engines or police cars, we see the sirens and they make up blue and red colors. So this is how that child expresses themselves when they drew a picture of a siren. And again, in dictation, parents ask the children what they have written or drawn, and then write the child's thoughts and ideas on the paper. So we can see this is displayed in a dictation form in the third tip of letting our child write. And this also could be used for reading just like any other book. The parents can use the dictation with any type of writing stories or any type of recipes. So basically they let the children express themselves on their canvas and ask them what they have written down, and then just write it down what the child sees or have written on paper. So those are the 3 tips again. Talk about writing, letting the children write, and dictation. Great job, guys. Well, let's go on to the next slide. All right, so next we're just gonna have a brief discussion. Now, how comfortable do you feel about trying out those 3 tips at home with your children? Pretty cool? Feeling good about those tips? Okay. All right, and how might we talk about writing with our children? Again, what type of ways can we talk about writing?
Just basically talking about it while you're doing it and
Got it.
making it kind of a normal part of your life. Like as long as we create it as a type of normalcy,
Hmm.
then that's a habit or a trait that they will pick up and start doing on their own. They're
Nice.
just walking around the house. Oh, I'm going to write down this. I'm going to write down this. So if they see you,
Mhm.
like if a child sees the adult doing it, then they naturally want to imitate that behavior.
Excellent. And you deserve a virtual thumbs up for that, Ms. Williams. Good job. So let's go into so let's go into the next slide. So now what we're going to do now is look at some writing samples. So I want you guys to just a brief 30 seconds to a minute just to scan what's going on in this picture and let me know what do you notice in this picture and what do we observe in this picture. All right. So time's up. What do we notice what's going on in this picture?
This is actually a book that has so many of these colors in it. The little girl who had to eat the lima beans. Do
Okay.
you? I cannot remember the name of the story, but she changes to so many different colors throughout the book. I don't know why this picture reminded me of that book,
Hmm.
but it definitely does, even though there's nothing very concrete about it.
Right. Right. And Jason, do you see anything? What type of things do you notice in this picture, Jason?
I see a little bit of red, maybe a tomato,
Tomato.
maybe green beans somewhere in there, maybe a
Hmm.
carrot or two.
Okay. So
Or a
again,
pumpkin.
a pumpkin.
Or a pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Okay. It
Like this
could
could be
be.
the orange. You know how kids are. They want their own thing. So this looks like either a pepper or a pumpkin, something with a
Exactly.
stem.
Could be a carrot. Could be anything, right? But
Yeah.
but the dictation, the child was able to express themselves on the canvas, and what the child has written or drawn is that the girl is eating a vegetable. It could be all type of vegetables. We could see carrots, lima beans. I'm not sure what that pink thing could be. I'm not sure, but we got maybe some squash out there. It could be a lot of things, you know. So basically, um, the child or student didn't attempt to write any type of letters. However, the parent or guardian let the child express themselves on the canvas, and basically they are starting to write. So this is the first stage of writing. They're just scribbling down some things and just, mentally expressing what they have written down. Good job, guys. So let's go on to the next slide. So the next slide. In this writing sample, what do we notice? It's a little bit different than the first one. It's like coming together a little bit. What do we see in this picture? And Ms. Williams, you did mention a little bit about this in a previous question that I asked you. If you can remember what it was something about maybe putting a title to something.
A story.
A story, but you also hit it on labeling.
Yeah, we have some label. Like it's labels. I
Mhm.
I like this one. I haven't seen writing like this in so long.
Nice, nice. What we got going on, Jason? What do we see, or what do you notice in this picture, Mr. Jason?
I notice a name at the top. It says Ben on the left hand corner.
Okay.
Then I notice a worm coming out the apple. I'm looking at label and cricket, butterfly. And then I'm looking at attempt to write at the bottom. So a lot of
Mhm.
development going on.
Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly. Nice. And thanks you guys for sharing that information. So
They have
basically,
their own little labels on there too, which is kind of cool. Like that's something that they've seen before. So like right
mhm,
up under this little cricket, they wrote the word cricket or whatever it was. So they labeled before the teacher labeled, which is pretty cool.
yes. So basically, this child is developing motor skills, writing and drawing from the top of the page into the bottom and identifying things that they see on paper. So again, we see the cricket, we see the butterfly, we see a worm, we see an apple. That might be some grass. There could be a tree in the background, and he also made a title of the picture, "The Very Quiet Cricket." So let's give an applause. I'm gonna give a virtual hand clap to Mr. Ben. He did an excellent job on that picture. So moving right along, we're gonna go to the next writing sample. So looking at this one, it's a little bit different than the previous picture. So what do we notice what's going on in this picture? And again, this is some of the things that we talked about with the first tip about talking about writing with our children and the type of things that we can do with our child. So what do we see what's going on and what they're doing in this picture? Like where could they be going? I'm gonna give you guys a hint. It could be Pete's, Whole Foods. So what do we notice that's going on in this picture?
You have a lot of inventive writing.
Inventive writing.
You
And
got your is it peanut butter, your bread, your yogurt, your jelly,
jelly. Yeah.
pineapples.
Pineapple. So basically what's going on in this picture that they're creating a grocery list. He or she wrote a grocery list. So again, the only thing that the parent and teacher did was help it give a title. So the child on their own wrote down all the lists that they're going to get from the grocery store: milk, peanut butter, bread, yogurt, jelly, and pineapples. And I couldn't even tell you like when I was growing up, my kids didn't even know what yogurt was. So that's a new thing for me. So basically the words are becoming more clearer and they're coming in structure. So again, they're starting at the top, working from the left to the right, and from the top to the bottom. All right, next picture. Finally, this will be our last writing sample. What do you guys notice what's going on in this picture? What do we see? What's happening in this picture? What are they doing? What are they doing?
These are steps to doing something.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they were dictating.
Dictation, yeah, that's most definitely what's going on. I would say a little bit of all three tips are going on in this sample. But they're putting something together, such as a recipe for oatmeal.
Oatmeal.
Yeah. And I wasn't a fan of oatmeal myself until I got older. I couldn't stand it when I was a little child. I don't know about you guys. Did you guys like oatmeal growing up?
Nah. My dad put sugar on top.
Right. Well, my favorite now was like maple and brown sugar oatmeal. Oh, man. All right, so basically what's going on in this picture is that the parent and teacher has got together and written a recipe. While the child did not write or attempt to write any letters, he or she still described making the recipe to the parent and teacher who wrote those dictations down. So basically what they put into it, and this is the recipe: sugar, cranberries, and crunchies. That's all. And milk too. They also stated that it's cold and it's yummy, it's oatmeal. So basically what they've done is putting the dictation down of what's going on in the recipe. So basically, each stages of the concepts that we looked at was a developmental stage of writing. First, we had scribbling. Next, we had them labeling. Third, we had them drawing, actually making a grocery list. And now they're actually putting together a whole recipe list. So basically, it's different stages in developmental writing and the literacy of children's writing. So good job, guys. All right, so let's go into the next one. Let's go into the next lab. All right, so this is a fun activity I want you to do, Ms. Williams and Jason, if you would like to. The materials needed was just basically a pen and a piece of paper. What we're going to do, we're going to write down this sentence using our opposite hand that we normally write with. So if you're right-handed, use your left hand. And if you're left-handed, use your right hand. And also there's a little bit of rules to this game. You can't hold the paper with your other hand. You have to use one hand on it. I'm going to give it a try as well. So I'll give you about a minute to do it. Let's see what we come up with, guys. All right. So again, by using your reaction button when you guys have finished, if you need a little bit more time, just give me a thumbs up when you guys completed this activity, and then we can share what we came up with together. I really look forward to seeing these pictures, man. I want to see what you guys came up with. I know Ms. Williams got something for us. Uh-oh. All right. Let me turn there. Okay, let's see. Today is warm outside, and my name is, okay, that look pretty nice. All right, let's check out Jason's picture. That looks good.
We're gonna work on your nice dominant hand, Jason. Okay.
And let me show you guys mine. Can you see it? It's kind of good. So basically, this activity is just to demonstrate like how difficult it could be just learning how to write as a child. You know, was it tough? Let's go on to the next slide. And we can come up with the activities. Okay, so, and again, virtual hand clap for everybody doing that. So basically, how did you feel about doing this activity? How did you feel?
I definitely had to focus and think about like how we write letters and the formation of letters. So like I had to think to myself, like, how do we teach the kids how to write this letter? How do we teach the kids how to do this? Like even with holding my pen, I'm like, this is kind of difficult because I'm not used to holding it.
Was that kind of challenging, just holding the pencil with your opposite hand?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was.
Right. So do we think that a child, that's how you had it? Okay. It's kind of tough with using that opposite hand, right? So do you think a child will experience some of these same challenges as they begin to write? Most definitely, right? Okay. So what are some of the things that we can do at home to support our children when they first begin to write? Like what are some of the things that we can do just to give them an extra push, just to support them while writing? What can we do?
We can just start having them do things with like their fingers, like, you know, just like the finger painting and things like that. Like that kind of helps with different formations and things like that.
Exactly.
You know, in our classroom, for our students who are having a hard time with just holding their writing instrument, we have them place things like on easels because it's slanted, or we have them doing activities on the wall because it prompts them to hold their writing instrument a little bit different, or to hold their hand a little bit different, which will then go into like, how do we hold our writing instrument and things like that.
Right. And again, you know, we could just celebrate and praise them by, you know, doing this activity because, you know, it's tough just learning how to write. You know, we can also trace the letters, you know, and again, go over the 3 tips, talk about writing, letting your children write, and just using dictation. And those are some of the things that we can use at home. That's fun activities that we can do. So let's go on to the next slide. So the next slide will just be some following up tips that we can do at home. Each one of us could take a turn with reading the numbers, or reading the individual numbers to the tips. I'll start with number 1 and we can just go down the line. So number 1, this is the first follow-up tip. Again, praise the child's drawing and writing. We also want to get them, great job, Aiden. Good job. You did excellent. I'm going to put that picture up on the refrigerator. Man, that's nice. So again, just praising the child's drawing and writing. We don't want to shun them from doing this, you know, because there's the next step of becoming an excellent person. So number 2, Ms. Williams, can you take it away?
Be patient. The child will make mistakes.
Yes. We also want, and that's one of the number 1 keys with doing, you know, celebrating our children's life, just being patient, just taking a breath and woosahing about it. Just be patient. Number 3, Jason, can you read number 3?
Yeah. Ask the child what he/she would like to write.
Nice. And I'll take number 4. We want to ask the child what he or she wrote. Number 5, I'll take it would be dictating the child's story. Number 6 would be reading the dictation to and or with the child. And number 7, we want to thank and praise the child for their activities, for their efforts that they have done. You know, good job. We might even want to give a Reese cup or some type of fun treat after they completed their activity. So that's our follow-up tip. So we can go on to the next slide. So basically, this is our checking for understanding. I just want to ask a question to you guys, and we're just going to come up with some solutions. Now, why is writing important for young children?
Why is writing important for young children?
Yes. Why is it? Why
It's
is it?
more of a developmental stage. Like we need to be able to write.
It is. It is. It is. It is. And how can we support writing at home?
Just giving them a plethora of materials and then encouraging them to write. Like,
Yeah,
here, have at it. And
right.
with like, I mean, as long as we give it to them and just say have fun with it,
Mhm.
then they're going to naturally want to do it. So
Yes.
it's just learning without rules.
Exactly. Exactly. Just giving them a fun space to let them express themselves. And again, how can we talk? How can we talk with our children about writing?
Modeling, discussing what you're doing while you're doing it.
Yes.
Just kind of making it to a conversation. I'm writing this down. I'm doing this.
Exactly.
I'm doing this.
And our children love to talk.
Why? Why?
Right. And what type of materials can we use to help our children write at home? A plethora of things, right? So just give me like three.
Crayons, markers, chalk, shaving cream,
Yes.
paint. I mean,
Yes. Just
anything.
about anything. All right. Good job. And I appreciate you guys. And I want to thank you. Let's go into the next slide.
You just opened your bag.
And basically, this is just a fun activity you can do. Just a little brief, slight homework assignment activity. Just ask your child to write or draw and then dictate what the child says about his or her work. And then just read read the writing with your child, just to form of that dictation, that third tip that we went over. And it's just a fun activity / homework I want you guys to do. Any questions about that? All right. So let me just give another couple questions. True or false? True or false? Does writing support children's language and literacy development? True or false? True. Okay. All right. When children are children writing when they mix letters with pictures? Are they writing when they mix a letter with pictures? Thumbs up. Cool. All right. Talking about writing doesn't teach children how to write. Does talking about writing teach children how to write? It does. Yes, no? It does. It does. But basically, just in this form of the question, and pay attention, talking about writing doesn't teach children how to write. True or false? Which one? Thumbs down? Okay, cool.
Listen, sir, I don't like the wording of that question,
No. Talking about writing doesn't teach children how to write.
but it does. So that's why I don't like that question. I don't like the does it does. Those ones used to get me messed up on tests too.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to pay attention to that. So number 4 is the only way to teach children how to write is with pencil and paper.
No.
Okay. All right. And what is the age? What is there an age when children start to write?
Oh.
No. Down. So when would that age possibly be? What would the age possibly be?
They'll start at like 1 year old because it's not a formal thing. Like once they start being able to use these little phalanges, it's a wrap.
You got it. You got it. All right. Good job, guys. I want to thank and applaud each and every one of you guys that attended this workshop. You especially, Ms. Williams, and Mr. Harper. Excellent. So next, I want to go ahead and launch this second poll, guys. Okay, Jess, you got to make me the host. Now, any questions about the workshop?
Great. Yet again.
Nice. So let me go ahead and launch this second poll once I get the hosting privileges. All right. And the second poll is just 5 questions. 3 will be the same that you answered before, and 2 is just, did you learn anything about the workshop, and would you make changes about the workshop? And again, Ms. Williams, if need be, like if you have any type of topics that you may want to talk about so we can add to our workshops, to our agenda and our curriculum, could you think of any right now to share with us? Because we already talk about family literacy, financial literacy, and parent employment readiness workshops. But anything else that you may want to add that might spark a little interest in some of the parents to get them to come to these workshops?
You know, as an educator and after being remote and things of such nature,
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure how to actually properly word this, but some of our families have difficulties with actually speaking to our children.
Okay, difficulty in speaking.
Um, and it's in regards, it's just learning how to talk to our kids without belittling our kids.
Okay, all right.
And that's what like, our kids are very resilient, but the way that we speak to them, it comes
Right.
back out later on in life.
And you know what that is? That's a very key point, Ms. Williams. And I see that, a lot, with, I'm not trying to be judgmental or anything, but that does go on a lot, with just the conversation and the words that some of the parents are using with the children, and again, the parents are the child's first teacher. So,
Mhm.
yeah, so learning how to talk without belittling. Uh, I don't know what type of topic we can make that, but I will bring that to the staff.
Like, bring this to the table. We need to work on this.
That's a good topic. That's a very good topic. Hopefully it doesn't spark any type of anger. Some people can't deal with constructive criticism. They think you just, like, oh, don't tell me what to do, but we're trying
Yeah,
to help.
yeah.
You
Like,
know?
I can honestly see that, and that's why, like, when I said, like, I don't know how to say it without, you know, being or judgmental or anything like that. But it's something that we see, like,
Yeah,
in the classroom. We see it when we're walking around outside. Like, it's just things
yeah.
that we naturally just see, and then we look and we frown because, like, don't you know how to talk to your child better than that?
Mm, yes. Okay. Anything else? So I got difficulty in speaking, learning how to talk to children without belittling them, and anything else that might spark another one.
Um,
Just one more.
one more.
Yeah.
Let's see.
No worries. No pressure.
We have math. That math was awesome. We have this was pretty much literacy.
Yeah.
What about? Do you have anything for science?
Science. Okay, we could bring that up. Um,
A little like using STEM at home.
using what at home? I'm sorry.
STEM.
STEM.
Hmm.
Okay. Using STEM at home. Okay. All right. All right. Did everybody get a chance to complete the poll?
Oh, I was too busy talking to you.
Oh, no worries. No worries. And this is good information. And again, I appreciate and thank everybody that came out to this workshop. I want to just quote one of my favorite artists. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. If you were able just to take down any one of the items that we spoke about today, any type of tidbit, any information that we share with each other, and implement it into your life, I feel like we're on the right track of becoming better people and individuals to make this world a better place. So with that being said, any questions or concerns?
Do you guys have anything with incorporating music into learning too?
You know what? We actually had something like that in our in a curriculum that we had during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
But what I can do, I can bring that to the table too. How can we incorporate music into one type of topic though? Like incorporate music into what?
Um, you know what? Honestly,
Workshops?
I did like this program where we just incorporated music and like into math, into
Okay.
language arts, a little bit of science, only because like we talked about like, the rhythm and things of such nature, how this song may make you feel about this visual art. So we incorporated into visual art, like paintings and drawings and things like that. So
Okay.
basically just trying to incorporate different types and different forms of music into their learning,
Okay.
so they actually kind of have a different understanding that there's more than one type of music out there.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's more than Cardi B or
Exactly. Give them a little culture. We need to culturize our babies.
NBA. Well, I digress. Anyway, so I got difficulty in speaking, learning how to talk to children without belittling them. Incorporating science using STEM at home, and how to incorporate music into math, English, and etc. and how rhythm works. Thank you for sharing that information, Ms. Williams. And again, this concludes our workshop, Children's Writing. I look forward to seeing you next month. Do get a chance to check your schedule. So if we needed to maybe push back the workshop so we can get a little bit more participants, we'll be fine. Just contact me, give me a heads up so we can make the changes.
I think I'm gonna bombard our meeting tomorrow. Take a break from class and bombard our meeting tomorrow with the kids and see how my parents are feeling about the time frame and what I can do to fix it, because this is awesome information and it's it's better firsthand.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, that concludes our workshop. We're good to go. I appreciate you. You have a wonderful day, and thanks for coming out.
You do the same. Thank you.
And thanks, Mr. Jason, for co-hosting. Thank you,
And
Jason.
helping.
Yes. Yes.
No problem.
All right. You guys have a wonderful day. Take care, Ms. Williams.
You do the same. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.